The American political landscape has long been dominated by two major forces: the Democratic and Republican parties. Their roots trace back to the early days of the Republic. The Democratic Party, founded by Andrew Jackson in 1828, championed the common man. It advocated for states' rights and limited government. The Republican Party emerged in 1854. It opposed the expansion of slavery. This fundamental conflict shaped the nation's destiny. The early years of these parties were marked by intense rivalry. They clashed over issues like tariffs, internal improvements, and the role of the federal government. Their battles reflected the growing pains of a young nation. The Civil War would become the ultimate test of their principles. The Civil War was a watershed moment for both parties. The Republican Party, led by Abraham Lincoln, preserved the Union. It abolished slavery. The Democratic Party, associated with the Confederacy, faced a long road to redemption. The post-war era saw the parties grapple with Reconstruction. They debated the role of the federal government in the South. The late 19th century witnessed the rise of industrialization and urbanization. These forces brought new challenges. The Democratic Party began to embrace some aspects of progressivism. It sought to regulate big business and protect workers. The Republican Party remained largely aligned with business interests. It favored limited government intervention in the economy. The 20th century brought significant shifts in the Democratic Party. The Great Depression and the New Deal era under Franklin D. Roosevelt redefined its role. The party embraced social welfare programs. It expanded the role of the federal government in addressing economic hardship. This era solidified the Democratic Party's image as the party of the working class. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s further transformed the Democratic Party. Under the leadership of Presidents John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson, the party championed civil rights legislation. It fought for racial equality. This stance alienated some Southern Democrats. It led to a major realignment in American politics. The Republican Party also underwent significant changes in the 20th century. After the New Deal, the party became increasingly associated with conservative principles. It advocated for limited government, free markets, and individual liberty. Figures like Barry Goldwater and Ronald Reagan emerged as icons of modern conservatism. The Republican Party's embrace of conservative principles led to a resurgence in its fortunes. It attracted voters who were disillusioned with the perceived excesses of liberalism. The Reagan Revolution of the 1980s marked a high point for the party. It ushered in an era of conservative dominance. Section 5. The Civil Rights Movement, a turning point. The Civil Rights Movement was a pivotal event in American political history. It realigned the two major parties along racial and regional lines. The Democratic Party's embrace of civil rights legislation alienated many white Southern voters. They began to migrate to the Republican Party. This realignment had a profound impact on American politics. It led to the emergence of the Solid South as a Republican stronghold. It also contributed to the increasing polarization of the two parties. Section 6. The Modern Political Landscape. Today, the Democratic and Republican parties represent two distinct visions for America. The Democratic Party is generally considered centre-left. It advocates for social justice, economic equality and government intervention in certain areas. The Republican Party is generally considered centre-right. It emphasises individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. The two parties are deeply divided on a range of issues, including healthcare, immigration, climate change, and gun control. These divisions reflect the broader ideological polarization of American society. Section 7. The rise of social issues. Social issues have become increasingly salient in American politics. The Democratic Party has become more progressive on issues like LGBTQ+ rights, abortion, and gun control. The Republican Party has become more socially conservative, particularly on issues like abortion and same-sex marriage. These social issues have fueled intense debates and contributed to the polarization of the two parties. They have also mobilized new constituencies and reshaped the political landscape. Section 8. Economic policy. A tale of two visions. The Democratic and Republican parties offer contrasting approaches to economic policy. Democrats generally favor a more active role for government in regulating the economy and providing social welfare programs. Republicans generally advocate for free markets, lower taxes, and less government intervention. These economic differences reflect the parties' divergent views on the role of government and the distribution of wealth. They have significant implications for American society. Section 9. Foreign policy and national security. Foreign policy and national security have also been areas of contention between the two parties. Democrats have historically been more inclined towards multilateralism and diplomacy. Republicans have often favoured a more unilateralist approach and a strong military presence abroad. These differences in foreign policy approach reflect the parties' views on America's role in the world and the best way to protect its interests. Section 10. The parties and the American identity. The Democratic and Republican parties have played a profound role in shaping the American identity. They have provided a framework for political debate and channeled the nation's political energy. They have also reflected and reinforced the country's divisions. The two-party system, while often criticized, has provided a degree of stability to American politics. It has also served as a mechanism for peaceful transitions of power. Section 11. The future of the two-party system. The future of the two-party system is uncertain. The rise of political polarization, the influence of social media, and the emergence of third-party movements have all raised questions about its long-term viability. Whether the two-party system endures or evolves, the Democratic and Republican parties will continue to shape the American political landscape for years to come. Their rivalry, while often contentious, has been an enduring feature of American democracy.